Hey everyone, I hope you're having a beautiful day. So I really was curious about the overall breakdown of the cost of hearing aids because let's face it, they're really expensive. And so I figured why not use ChatGPT to see if it could give me a breakdown of why the costs are what they are. So I'm going to read to you exactly what it says. And to be quite honest, it kind of makes sense not to say that hearing aids aren't expensive. They are. But when you break it down like this, it kind of does make sense why they are so expensive. And I think there's a lot of little factors that we often forget about, especially when it comes to technology. And again, I'm not trying to justify it by any means, because let's face it, if they were more affordable, more people could get the help that they need. But at the same time, I do understand it from this perspective, okay? So here we go. Hearing aids are expensive due to a combination of factors, including research and development costs, regulatory requirements, manufacturing, distribution, and professional services. And now below, it's going to break it down into, I believe, 10 different kind of subcategories. I'm not going to go into too much detail of each of those categories, but I will just list them for you. And there's a lot of things that I personally didn't even think about when it comes to technology. Okay, so number one, research and development costs. Hearing aids are complex medical devices that require extensive research and innovation, which is true. Regulatory approvals and compliance. Hearing aids are classified as a medical device and must meet strict regulations before being sold. Number three, manufacturing and high quality components. Unlike mass produced consumer electronics, hearing aids are manufactured with high precision components. Makes sense. Number four, limited market size and lack of economy scale. Hearing aids serve a niche market. Only about 15 to 20% of people who need them actually get them, which is true. But it's saying that limits demand and mass producing at lower costs. I could see that too. However, if they were more affordable, then maybe more people would be able to get them. It's kind of a vicious cycle there, I would say. Number five, audiologist services and professional fees. Hearing aids are typically sold through audiologists or hearing clinics, which bundle the cost of the device with the professional services, which is true. So when you go to your hearing aid specialist, whether it be the audiologist or the hearing clinic, they often do bundle their services. So then when you go back, you don't have to pay for the services because it's been included in the purchase of the hearing aid. And there are a lot of little things when you think about it that go into that. Number six, marketing and distribution expenses. So hearing aid manufacturers spend heavily on marketing, education, and sales distribution. Yeah, fair. Limited insurance and government support. This is a big one. We know this is huge. I mean, I'm in Canada and the government support is ridiculous. But unlike eyeglasses or dental care, hearing aids are often not fully covered by insurance or government programs. This needs to change. Definitely need more support there. Number eight, retail markup and profit margins. Hearing aids are often sold at a markup by audiologists and clinics to cover their overhead costs, such as rent, salaries, and equipment, which is true. That is one thing I think we forget the most, is that in order for these audiologists to stay open, they do need to make money. And again, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm not trying to, agree with their markups. But at the same time, at the end of the day, everybody needs to make money and everybody needs to be able to stay in business. So that's why it is important to kind of shop around, because maybe an audiologist has slightly less markups, but those are some things to think about. Like, you're not just paying for the device, you're kind of paying for a larger bubble of services. Number nine, technology and features drive up costs. So modern hearing aids offer advanced features, which also contribute to the higher prices. Makes sense, like Bluetooth and all these other fall detection. It's a piece of technology, there's a lot more to it than we think. And then OTC hearing aids, or over the counter hearing aids, are changing the market. The introduction of OTC hearing aid aimed to make hearing aids more affordable and accessible, which I agree. However, here in Canada, we don't quite have OTC yet. But I do think that a lot of people get frustrated with the over-the-counter hearing aids because they're missing that individualized component when they see an audiologist. But I understand that they are more affordable, so in some sense, it does help people. But again, there's so many components that I think we forget about, and all of these there's 10 different categories. ChatGPT just broke it down for me. And yeah, And the final thoughts from ChatGPT are hearing aids are costly because they are medical devices requiring extensive research and development, strict regulations, high-end components, and professional services. It's true. They are high-end medical devices, and that is why insurance and government should support these devices more. Hopefully that can change in the coming years, but it is ever a challenge when dealing with both of those companies. So something to think about. And I'm curious what your thoughts are in the comments about this breakdown of cost for hearing aids. I know every brand is different, but this kind of generalizes, why they are so expensive with all the different little things to think about. Like I said, not to justify it, but companies do need to have some type of profit margin. And these little pieces of technology are really powerful. And there's so much more to it than we think. But yeah, that was just on my mind. Figured why not utilize ChatGPT and AI like everybody else is these days. So very curious. And if you're curious to learn more about these little subsections, head over to ChatGPT. It's free. Give it a little search. It's very interesting.